Hey everybody, Ned Canty here, coming to you during the middle of day 9 of La Boheme Rehearsals. Today we spent the first session, which we've just finished, finishing up some little bits and pieces in Act 1, polishing some of the things we've done. Act 1 has a lot of action, a lot of running around in this very small space of the garret, so we just wanted to make sure that everything was being put where it needed to be, so that later on when it was needed by Mimi, it would be right there. So a lot of the kind of details that you need to make sure are taken care of so that the entire thing looks effortless and like it's happening for the first time right then when you see it. One of the things we also talked about today and worked on a little bit today was the half dozen moments throughout the opera where everyone sings the same thing all at once, and addressing that in terms of the level of reality in the world of the opera. So, if you think about older operas, Rossini, Donizetti, Mozart, Verdi, people often repeated themselves. Handel, they repeated whole verses. And because it was part of the style, you don't expect people to be acting in a naturalistic way. And with Boheme, because so much of it, the vast majority of it, is happening moment to moment. Every second that passes on stage is a second that could be passing in real time. When people do, out of the blue, all say the same thing at the same time, it sort of stands out in an odd way. And what we've been trying to do is figure out, what are the in-jokes? What are the things that a group of friends who've known each other for a long time, what are the in-jokes that they have that they would be able to turn to or use in a particular moment, and make sure that anytime they sing together, it seems as if they're quoting a fragment of a song or some joke that they have all made before, so that it's situational. We also worked a lot on tiny little details in the early part of the scene, really trying to get that lived-in feeling. I think this group of Bohemians, their relationship already is stronger than any cast I've worked with. They really feel like friends. They feel like people who, love each other but have fought and said horrible things and made up and been with each other through good times and bad. You get that sense of texture, but we're still going in and trying to pinpoint moments where we can bring more of that sense of history. So for instance, very early in the scene, when Marcello and Rodolfo are trying to think of something to burn, and Marcello says, "We'll burn the chair," Rodolfo says, "No, I've got a better idea. The fire of art will sustain us." And Marcello isn't quite with him, and he says, "Are you talking about burning my painting?" And Rodolfo says, "No, painted canvas stinks when you burn it." And it's something that sort of blows right by. It's something that pretty much anyone would know, that you don't want to burn a painted canvas, that it's not going to be a good air. But what we talked about was, well, maybe this is something that they tried. In the desperation of last winter, they had a few canvases that only had a little bit of paint on them, and they figured, well, maybe we can get away with it, and so they burned them, and it just stank the place up for months. And we talked about that. They did it again with that sort of level of history, that level of specificity. Doesn't change the music, doesn't change rhythms, doesn't change really anything other than what's going on in their heads and how they physically react with each other when they talk about it. And sure enough, it felt like a completely different moment. It felt like something that was rooted in their history together. So I actually told the cast today, I said they're doing a terrible thing, which is they're taking all of my notes, which as a director, if you take a director's note every time, you're just encouraging them to give more notes. So, you have to be careful with that. So they're definitely teaching me habits that other singers will curse them for, I'm sure. But it's a very smart cast that knows the piece well enough to have opinions, but also to be able to bend those opinions, and they have that wonderful openness to a different point of view that allows us to stretch things and try out different alternatives and figure out which one is going to be the most true to the character, to the piece, to the music. So that's what we've been working on today. It's been a good day. Tonight we work on Act Two again with the chorus. This talking about going through the very specific sort of traffic cop part of what it means to stage an opera. Act Two is almost the definition of that. It's the scene by which other crowd scenes are measured because there's so much going on. So we're going to be working on that tonight, hopefully finishing that up. But I thought I would talk now while there was still a little bit of light, and before I spend 3 hours talking. I might not have a voice left at the end of the day. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you like them, share with some other folks. Comment on them. Let us know what you think. If there's a question you have, if you'd like us to address a particular issue, if there's something that's always bothered you about the opera, and the more we talk about it, the more we find little tiny moments that everybody says, it's always bothered me that X. So let us know, and we'll address them in one of these videos. Thanks so much, and talk to you tomorrow.